Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Mike Green. I'm one of the owners of 1A Auto. I want to help you save time and money repairing and maintaining your vehicle. I'm going to use my 20 plus years experience restoring and repairing cars and trucks like this to show you the correct way to install parts from 1AAuto.com. The right parts installed correctly. That's going to save you time and money. Thank you and enjoy the video.
In this video, we're going to install a new Pitman arm on this 96 Tahoe, same as any 88 to 98 Chevy truck. This is a four-wheel drive vehicle, so four-wheel drive trucks, and also 92 to 98, or I'm sorry, 92 to 99 SUVs, four-wheel drives. You will need the following tools: penetrating oil, a whole host of millimeter sockets, 18 millimeter fitting wrench, joint fork and hammer, Pitman Arm Puller, and actually not listed here was a 19 millimeter socket and ratchet, or your tire iron to remove your tire. And you'll also need a jack and jack stands or lift. To check to see if you have a bad Pitman arm, you can see this is the front driver's side tire. We're going up and under. Okay, here's your transfer case here, and then up right there is the joint of your Pitman arm. This here is your Pitman arm, and then this is your steering linkage. So again, here's your Pitman arm, here's your steering linkage. So when you move your tires, I'm just grabbing hold of tires and kind of turn them back and forth, and the car's up off the ground. And you can see there's a lot of play and movement going around that Pitman arm. So that joint is bad. First, you'll want to remove this skid plate, which is 4 15 millimeter bolts. You can see 2 easy here, and there's one up here, and one you can't really see, but over here. We're going to remove the steering box to get to the Pitman arm. Okay, so this is the driver's side of the engine compartment. There's the power brake booster, and this right down here is your steering box. A little difficult to see, where you can see these tubes going in. There's a plastic shield here that kind of clips around. Now you can see this was clipped up and around here, so you just kind of peel that off and pull this plastic shield back, and now you're going to want to use some penetrating oil and douse both your fittings, one here and then one a little further up. It's kind of difficult to see. So there's 2 fittings to douse with penetrating oil, and then there's also a bolt that you might be able to barely see there. And then you also want to loosen this bolt here, and that loosens the coupler from the steering box shaft. The best tool for removing those power steering fittings is a fitting wrench like this, and they're 18 millimeter. See it down on there? I got it on there. And then once you loosen it with the fitting wrench, you can usually get an open end wrench on there to help you navigate it the rest of the way. And then make sure you have a catch pan underneath to catch the fluid as it starts leaking out. Now we're going to use an 11 millimeter socket and a ratchet and extension to loosen that bolt. You right down in there, put the socket and ratchet on there. And it might, at this point, it might be good to have someone help you just hold the steering wheel so it keeps that from turning at all. So once you remove the bolt, then you want to take a large screwdriver or a pry bar and put it down in there, and just make sure that you can move the steering shaft away from the steering box. And if you watch you can see that the shaft is moving from the steering box pretty easily. So when I actually unbolt the steering box, I'll be able to pull it right out. Now up underneath, here's the front of our transfer case on this four-wheel drive truck, and this is our Pitman arm joint right here. So it's a 21 millimeter bolt. We use a impact wrench. You can see we removed the tire over here, and this is a joint fork. So we're going to bring it in from the side here, and then use a good hammer. Basically, we just remove the tire so we can get a good wrap on this fork. Okay, see that fork just separates that joint. Here's the 3 bolts that hold your steering box on, and just to see, I just use a little screwdriver to kind of bend this fender up a little bit because it was in the way, and then you can just tap it back down with the hammer when you're done. But now you can easily get socket and extension on there. And just to show you, it can be done with hand tools. Again, 21 millimeter. And I'll just do the rest of it with a impact wrench just to be quicker. And then hold on to the box with one hand. Ah! It's not just going to fall out. Lift it up and out of the steering gear and then pull it forward from the shaft. There's the box out of the truck. My steering box here, upside down in my pan, just so any more fluid just drains out into the pan. Here's where having an impact wrench is going to be really valuable. And then this socket is a 34 millimeter. If you don't have an impact, you can just turn the arm all the way and then use a large bar. You'll probably need, you may want somebody to help hold it. You could bolt your steering box onto a longer piece of wood, which would help you to keep it steady. But having the impact wrench is the best thing. Okay. And now you're going to want to use your Pitman Arm Puller, and this is really the only way to do this. Okay, so believe it or not, I actually forgot to film, or I messed up and I didn't film pulling the Pitman Arm off. So I'm just going to show you how to use the Pitman Arm Puller and the tool on, this is actually the idler arm. It's the same idea, you would just be doing it on the steering box. You put the tool on like that, and then put your wrench on there and pull it, and it breaks it right free. Right off. Okay, and this ends part 1 of this video. If you want to see, obviously, reinstalling the Pitman arm, go please to part 2. We hope this helps you out. Brought to you by www.oneaauto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet. Please feel free to call us toll-free, 888-844-3393. We're the company that's here for you on the internet and in person.